Alright, so we got the Golf in the inside the shop here now. It's nice and, what's the best word for it? Frozen outside? I don't know. Went from being almost mid 20s this morning to now it's below freezing with wind chill. So, or below zero with wind chill. So yeah, it's a little chilly outside. But yeah, get a little bit done on the car here, at least try to. So I think I'm gonna disconnect the battery. The battery appears to have been frozen. I don't know how well you can see that. There's a nice little bulge in both ends. But so yeah, I get that disconnected and we'll let that thaw out and see what happens. It may work out, or I just have to get a new battery. But it was nice. The guy marked it when he did the timing belt. That was done at 207,000 miles. That's a serpentine belt, and then a timing belt with water pump. Both at that same time. So yeah, so I'm gonna take it and get this battery disconnected, I guess. Probably remove the air box just for some space. Just remove all this. Take off the intake tube to the intercooler. Then eventually I'm gonna have to pull those injectors, but I'm not gonna wait for now. I gotta pull the intake off. See if I'm gonna leave the turbo and its manifold attached to the exhaust, or if I'm going to take that out completely. We'll see yet. Yeah, I got to drain oil, drain coolant down. Yeah, we got some stuff to do here, so I'm going to get going, I guess. Well, if you watch the first video that I made, just kind of do an introduction video for this car, I said that the guy replaced his timing belt, and I showed you underneath the valve cover here, the kind of the mess that's in there. And I think I may know what happened. So he's got a mark there on the back cover, and a mark there. This is on the injection pump pulley, pulley. And then we got a mark there and a mark there. Note that this mark is past that mark, and this mark is before that mark. If we come down here, you can see through the wheel well area, And notice there's a mark there on the timing gear and the crank gear, and there's a mark up there on the front cover. So this marks before that marks before on the gear is marked before the gear or the mark on the engine side. So my thought is he must have had some oil that got on this in between this gear here and the actual camshaft, because there's no key in there. It's a friction fit. So that's probably what happened. So we're gonna have to make sure we avoid that. And looking in here, it is not too bad. I mean, I've seen worse. It still moves, but we're gonna have to clean that up good. Maybe we'll make this disappear. We'll see. Well, there, we're back again working on the Golf here. Got the coolant draining down there. I think I'm gonna work on getting this intake off. And let's see. One thing I was looking at is I got this in, and this cam gear I think probably slipped. Not 100% sure, but the crank's off too. So I'm kind of wondering if it possibly jumped a tooth as well. So we'll see if this tensioner is actually tightened down right. But gonna get everything all starting to take it apart here. Gotta take intake off, disconnect the exhaust from the head, and go from there, I guess. we're making some progress here. So I got turbo and exhaust is loose. Let's see, you got, well, 2 out of the 4 glow plugs out. This one and number 4 both only turn a little bit and then they bind up. So it tells me I'm thinking they probably got crunched. Obviously I got the injector lines off. Got the coolant flange on the back off. The little vacuum canister, pulled that off. So yeah, working on it. I gotta work these injectors out now. And get the timing belt off and get this head ripped off, I guess. So yeah. Well, it's not good, but it's not terrible. So got the head off, and you can kind of sneak it out of there without taking the exhaust, the turbo and everything out. But we got that. There's a couple of chunks stuck there. There's a chunk stuck up on that one. They're messy, but I measured and they're within 5 thousandths at least with my rudimentary measuring. And then we see why that cylinder number 1 is so messed up. Is it busted the valve off and flipped her over. Otherwise, number 2 and all the rest of these are actually okay, besides the fact that they have pieces in them, which is a little interesting because I don't know where they came from. So yeah, I don't think they came out of cylinder 1, but they might have. Alright, so a little bit of a time jump here. I think I already showed that the head's off, but I pulled the oil pan and there is some particulate down there. I mean, it's kind of expected, I guess, so it's not terrible. So I need to flush the all the oil passages through, ideally, so that we make sure there's no metal in any of the oil galleys. I noticed looking at this that this one, let's see if we can get it close enough, kind of looks like it when it hit, it cracked. So, and then this piston's all beat up. So I pulled this one out, and it looks like the rod is still straight. So rods should be good. So I'm gonna probably end up ordering a set of pistons here, since these ones both got nicked up too. So I might as well just replace them all and be done with it. I gotta check the turbo yet, make sure nothing went down that way. But I'm kind of thinking the turbo feels good. I spun it, and there's no shaft play. It feels nice and smooth, and no play and whatnot, so that should be good, I think. So I'm not too worried about that right now. But yeah, so order some pistons and get some injector nozzles so I can replace that bent one and start getting her back together. Well, I think that's gonna probably finish up this video. Got it mostly torn down. I obviously got to pull the other pistons yet, but get some more parts ordered and we'll get this thing going. So if you enjoyed this really kind of jumpy video, I'm sure, go ahead and subscribe, like it, go ahead and leave a comment, and thanks for watching.